So the agenda I've already talked about, a little bit about us, a little bit about why cloud, and then we're going to get into this example of Microsoft Azure, which I'll ask Rahul to take you through. Information Management Group is a Microsoft Gold partner. We are what the industry would consider a systems integrator. We have teams of people that build solutions for our customers. We're based in London. We have a regional sales office in Manchester. We have a development team based out in India, and we have most recently added to our global reach with an office in New York. In terms of our breadth, I'll talk to you about our capabilities. In terms of the geographical reach of the business, we have customers here in the UK, but we have users of our solutions and customers around the globe, so most certainly in the US, across EMEA and elsewhere. And our experience spans both the public and private sector, and we'll say more about that shortly. In terms of the services that we deliver, it's what I consider and what I describe as upstream through the downstream project and program management. So we begin with advisory services to help you think about the strategy and the direction that you should be taking in terms of appropriate technology, appropriate architectures, and so forth, through to the delivery of those actual projects in data management in a variety of areas, and I'll say more about that in a moment. And then in terms of the downstream side of this, increasingly over the 12 years or so that we've been in business, a portion of our customers have increasingly come to rely on us for the delivery of services on an ongoing basis. So we offer contractual managed services to support the applications that we build and the value that we deliver to our customers. And that's a natural part of the development of our business that's given us this extension into the world of cloud computing. I've mentioned we are a Microsoft Gold partner. We have competencies in a number of technologies and applications. This is summarized here. I suppose most notably we are a business that focuses on the data to information journey, and most of our customers and a good number of the projects that we have are in that arena. It is about helping people maximize on the asset value of the information that is a byproduct of the business that they do on a day-to-day basis. That is what we do. In terms of our awards, we were recognized for that capability most significantly through our Microsoft partnership, where we won the Partner of the Year award globally for business intelligence 4 years in a row. So I hope that conveys to you the credentials and the capabilities that we have and the closeness and the significance of our working relationship with Microsoft, which is really part of the context and the background to what we're going to be saying to you today about Microsoft's cloud platform Azure. In terms of our customers, I've mentioned that we have expertise in both public and private sector, a range of customer names here for you on this slide, just really to illustrate the breadth of the experience that we've had. And most of these are customers where we've gone in and built and delivered solutions for people on premise in the traditional way, but that over time have started increasingly to look, as I said, at managed services and alternative delivery platforms such as cloud. So why cloud? Very briefly, and some of our other content talks to this in more detail. I think over the last 3 years we've seen unprecedented change and challenge in business that you could describe as the sort of perfect storm. And for most of the organizations that we do business with, be they commercial or public sector, the challenge of doing more with less is something that is ever present. So everybody's wrestling with these objectives of driving out cost, focusing on core activity, delivering more out of a smaller budget. And cloud computing is very much right for that. It is right for the times, and that is why we as a business have elected to invest in it in the manner that we have. This is a chart out of Gartner. It's the key IT metrics that analyzes the proportion of spend on IT as a percentage of income. And I think for a lot of people in their drive to look objectively at their balance sheet, at the costs that they incur as a business, IT has been fairly commonly in the crosshairs of that analysis, because people are spending money on IT to provide services that they need, but that don't necessarily define who they are and what they do. And that basic principle of IT as cost center versus IT as deliverer of core value is, I think, a conversation that's taking place in most of the customer organizations that we're talking to, and people are looking at this type of analysis and thinking, well, is there an opportunity for us to take out a base percentage point or indeed a whole percentage point out of our IT spend, and actually, while we do that, deliver yet more value? That's kind of the challenge for IT, and that is squarely where the Microsoft Cloud Services platform fits, and the benefits of using a platform like Azure to give you agile development capability that you pay for only as you use it. So the world that we've come from, where you provision IT capability against a maximum theoretical demand, and that therefore carries inbuilt redundancy with it, that model is kind of old and out of date now, as Microsoft and other vendors bring together cloud computing technologies that make IT resources available on demand. So the other part of this is really the rising consumer and customer expectations of the applications that we build and deliver for people. This is something that we can't ignore, and we shouldn't overlook. The rise of consumer devices and applications is setting expectations of what business applications should be doing for us. I suspect that most of us have examples of that in our working lives. And most certainly the agenda of the user and the power of the user is influencing and to some extent determining choices that people are making about their IT at a very strategic level. So, types of cloud services. Before I hand over to Rahul, just a very quick run through of this. Cloud computing is bringing new opportunities into market. The first of these is infrastructure as a service, and the idea really is that instead of buying a computer, you can simply think about the type of computer that you want and specify that to the providers of cloud services as infrastructure that you want them to provide to you. So, what type of machine do I need? You give that information to a cloud computing provider. They then can make that available to you on demand at infinite scale. So if you want a particular type of computer to run a particular application and you don't know how many users you're going to have for that, then infrastructure as a service is your start point to deliver the service that you need, and you only pay for what you use. So that infrastructure as a service is the start point. Beyond that, there is something that really is core to what we're going to be showing you today, platform as a service. And the idea here is that it's the computer that I've just described, the CPU power, the storage capability, various other parameters that would determine the horsepower of the compute resource that you need, coupled with a computing environment already bundled in, and that is the platform. So in this case, the equivalent might be a Windows an Intel computer with Windows bundled into it. That would be a platform which you could go and buy, or you can go to Microsoft Azure and rent that and pay for it as you go. And that is the platform as a service, which is something that you can build on. Lastly, something that is of great relevance here is software as a service, and that is really the opportunity to divest of the applications that you need, but that you don't need to own. It is a subscription opportunity where you can consume services provided by the market at a rate, a cost of ownership that is probably better than your ability to deliver from internal capability. This slide really sort of speaks to the commitment that Microsoft is making in market. In brief, and I will be brief, really what we're seeing here is the increase in choice available to the customer, whoever they may be. The traditional Microsoft technologies are available below the line here. So where you've got productivity, communication through to platform, below that line are the Microsoft technologies that we've all built our IT infrastructure around and that we know and that we have relied on. What Microsoft is doing, I think, in an unprecedented investment in innovation, is making those same technologies available in the cloud. That isn't to say that this is an alternative, that this is in any way implying a negative and shall we say old view of the assets that you've already got. Quite the reverse, and this is what's unique about the Microsoft strategy for cloud computing, and the reason that we think it's right and fit for purpose and right for the times, is that you have in the cloud options, and as you know, the timing and the scale at which you engage those options is something that is right for you, and it can be done in a manner that is completely connected to the investments you've already made. It is complementary to the investments you've already made, and a sort of blended best of both worlds approach. And that is something that we absolutely endorse as a business. And in endorsing that, we provide services across that entire range. So for today's session, we're going to be focusing on the right-hand end here. Agile development using compute horsepower provided by Microsoft in an infinitely scalable way that is elastic. You only pay for what you use. That is the principle of the Azure platform. We provide services across this entire scale because cloud computing for us is absolutely a part of the answer to resolving the conundrum of how do I do more with less. It is absolutely a part of the answer to helping people look at their IT spend and reposition and retarget that IT spend so that they are getting better yield out of the investments that they're making in a manner that supports their organization's core objectives more directly. So I'm going to hand over to Rahul in a minute. He's going to start to take us through some of these examples. Just to set the scene, Windows Azure is the core platform. I've already described it to you in some instances. It is Microsoft server capability available on demand. As part of that platform, there are various ancillary capabilities, including, in this instance, the Microsoft database technology SQL, which is available in the cloud, and also, and I think perhaps most importantly, and Rahul will speak to this, something called the Windows Azure App Fabric. And what this does, and the Ethernet coming out of the cloud kind of neatly depicts this, is it allows you to connect your cloud investments with the investments you've made on premise. And I cannot stress enough how important a capability I think that is, and how significant that is in differentiating Microsoft's technology and platform from the other vendors and propositions in market. That's why we think that's the right way to go. So, without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Rahul, who's going to show some of this in action. Rahul.